Let's talk a little bit about goat whey protein. We hear a lot about whey protein. How is goat whey protein made? Is it similar?
Well, yeah, it is. It is. So let me. So it's made similar to cow whey, for instance, or something like that, but makes certain things unique about goat whey, right? So what happens is that typically you're using goat's milk to get it out there, and what kind of makes it unique is that unlike your cows, the majority of these goats are not being fed antibiotics or growth hormones. So that's number one, the biggest difference between them. So and you can kind of go from there, and so you kind of getting these certain advantages of the way this process works, right? So they use these like microfiltration processes, and then they check for pathogens, they pasteurize, and so on. And the other thing that they can do is this. Is then they mix it with a mixing compound that's non-GMO to kind of get a powder form that's very easily dissolvable. But you're kind of staying away from some of the cow's whey, which unfortunately, because of the growth hormone and because of the antibiotics, you're kind of getting, it's a little bit cleaner to approach the goat. And then it has some other benefits as well.
Talk about those a little bit. There's so many protein powders out there. If people do a search for them,
Yeah.
Why would goat whey be maybe a better option for some people?
So first of all, let's actually address the problem is why is whey protein good for you? Why is whey even a good protein source? Well, the reason is, first briefly, is that the reason you need protein is that you have what we refer to as 8 essential amino acids. And the reason they're called essential is that your body can't make them. Your body can make the rest of them, but it cannot make these 8. And hence, because of that, you need to get them in a diet. The majority of protein sources you can get don't have all 8 of them. Goat whey does. Whey protein in general does. So that's why it's a complete protein package, right? So that's why that's important. Now, what are the benefits of whey? Well, one of the 2 things about whey that makes it very beneficial is that it provides these tons of these proteins, these essential acids, and it actually has a numerical value associated with that, right? So there's a term that's used called biological value when it comes to protein sources, which was typically scored between 0 to 100, and it encompasses for a certain amount of protein you eat or substance you eat, how much of that protein is then utilized by your body. That's what you're really interested in. If you're taking protein, you want it to go right into your body, have that kind of positive effect, get utilized, make muscle, get used. And so typically the eggs had 100. That's considered as good as it gets. Whey has 104, right? So it's even better. It's like as good of a protein source as you can get. And not surprisingly, because of that, bodybuilders, sports nuts, athletic people, really extra people have jumped on the whey wagon since almost from day one, right? So they love these whey protein shakes. They consume tons of whey. But typically, there's also 2 kinds of whey you can have, right? It can either come as an isolate or it can come as a concentrate. Now, they both have their benefits and their negatives, but for most people, I believe that a concentrate is a better way to approach the whey. And the reason is that these isolates, while they're in theory might be good for a bodybuilder or master, a lot of it does not actually get absorbed by your stomach. The concentrate gets absorbed better by your stomach. And the other thing is that they have better absorption, and they also come with a little bit of fat, which is also really good when you're absorbing protein to get a little bit of fat. Not too much fat. Obviously, too much fat's bad for you. That's why. But a little bit of the fat kind of helps absorb it, and kind of soothes the stomach and so on. So it kind of, for a normal healthy person who doesn't want to look like Arnold Schwarzenegger from 1981, I think a concentrate is probably the better way to go. Finally, perhaps one of the most important things that kind of distinguishes whey from goat whey from milk whey is that kind of the goat milk is kind of closer to human milk, right? And so than typical cow's milk is. And most people believe that's kind of, maybe what's good for the baby, that's millions of years of evolution that's gone into producing that, which is far more powerful than anything we can do in a lab, right? So if the millions of years of evolution telling you is that this is the best thing you can give to a child to be raised and be healthy, then probably if we can get a source closer to that, you're better off on your health factor.